Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 22nd to the 28th of August 2016. There's a lot of energy around at the moment, and some people are reporting feeling restless but also lacking in energy at the same time, so a very, very interesting combination here, which is due to a number of factors. So to begin with, we have Mercury and Jupiter together in Virgo. So Virgo likes us to plan the next planting cycle, to plant the seeds in the right order at the right time to reach the larger goal later on. So it's all about thinking and planning. And Jupiter wants to expand, so to take those ideas and make them bigger. So with these two together in Virgo, then we're looking at thinking ahead, thinking to the next cycle. Where do we want to go? Where do we want to challenge and expand ourselves? And what do we want to produce as a result in the long run? And yet Mercury is about to retrograde, so this is all very well, but it's worth documenting what you're thinking now and what your plans are now, but then leaving some space, leaving some room for adjustment, because from the 31st of August through to the 22nd of September, over that autumn equinox period, there will be minute changes and changes of perspective so that we don't go careering off in the wrong direction or making plans that are too limited for us and not big enough. So there's a kind of buzz going on in Virgo at the moment. Venus is in the mix as well, and we'll meet with Jupiter and Mercury by the end of the week and into next week. So there's a sense of the heart having to catch up here, to make sure this isn't all just thinking and busyness and productivity, but to actually put our heart into something and make sure that we've got that soul connection with it. So lots of mental activity here, lots of potential, a kind of fibrous buzz going on, all those options, but it's worth just writing them down for now rather than actually acting upon them. By Monday we have the Sun going into Virgo, so this will actually start to bring a little bit more clarity as we leave Leo and we move into the beautiful harvest sign of Virgo. So we can expand our thoughts, we can open our mind to new possibilities during this time, we can make changes on the inside, because Virgo is the hermit. Virgo is where we go in and take that sun energy from Leo and put it inside so that we'll be self-lit throughout the winter. But also when we take the light inwards, we can actually see what's lurking in the shadows as well and do that cleaning, that tidying up that Virgo likes to do. So we have a very powerful ability here as we go into the month of Virgo with these other planets in there as well, with Venus, Mercury and Jupiter, to take everything in and do our inner housework. To realise that if we want to see change on the outside, we need to make the minute changes on the inside, change our mind, change our heart, align with those two, and then we'll see that change manifest on the physical plane. By Tuesday we have Mars and Saturn together. Mars and Saturn together in Sagittarius, so there's another pull outwards, but another holding pattern right now as well, because at the moment Saturn is ahead of Mars, and then Mars will take over from Saturn during the week. So what does that mean? Well, we have the passion there with Mars, the soul fire directed. And yet Saturn is keeping a lid on that right now, saying yes, but give it structure. Don't just fire off in all directions and follow every impulse. Give it some structure, give it some thought, have some discipline, and look at the integrity of that passion and where it's coming from and where it's going to. So by Tuesday there's no real detail needed yet, but there is a desire to feel the passion, to feel the excitement, to capture the essence of that before we actually step forwards with it, and then to realise that that then needs to be structured into a more long-term plan rather than just impulses. But by Wednesday Mars steams ahead of Saturn and now we're on the move. So having had 2 days of a holding pattern, having felt that potential energy but without it having an outlet, now we can start to feel that that's got a clean direction to go in. Sagittarius is all about precision, shooting the arrow to the bullseye rather than just splaying energy out and wasting our dynamism. So midweek we have a story of energy and structure, power and discipline, how when those two go together, the old phrase power is nothing without control, then all of a sudden we've harnessed that energy, we've captured it, we've structured it, we've put it in our right direction, and now everything is possible. But like I say, we're heading towards a Mercury retrograde, so It's a tricky one here. Where do you push forwards? Where do you hold back? Where's your mind at? Where's your heart at? Where's your passion at? There's things moving forwards. There's things getting ready to go backwards. It's all a little bit confusing as all of those elements in Virgo are squaring off to those elements in Sagittarius. On Thursday we have Jupiter meeting Venus in Virgo. So when Jupiter comes along, it tends to clear things out of the way to make an open road ahead, to create that avenue for longer, wider travel and expansion. So there's a sense of decluttering our heart on Thursday, making the space, making peace. We could even, with this awkward combination, have a look at where our motivations are and what's driving us. We may think we're passionate about something, but is that coming from an old plan? Is that coming from a place of, I should be doing this, or I need to do that, or I should have done this by now? And is that even real? Because sometimes just clearing out and making peace and making space can often bring us a simpler way to be and a simpler path to take forwards. So healing and wholeness come from the same root word, and what we can see this week is we've got Venus, which is connecting with the heart, Mercury, which is channeling the ideas, Jupiter, which wants to expand and make a yearly plan, Mars, which is our passion and soul fire, Saturn, which wants to give that structure and discipline so it's not wasted. All of these are acting together this week, but we need to bring those all into alignment to make sure that they're working from a place of wholeness and to make some room so that we can actually feel the core root of our desires, what's really in our heart, and get rid of anything that's limiting us or holding us back, or forming our plans from a psychological belief that we need to be busy and we need to be doing and we need to be productive, that we need to distract ourselves, and that we need to just keep making progress on the outside without connecting on the inside. So a really interesting dynamic, everything bubbling in the pot, but not really needing to be pushed forwards yet, even though there may be a desire to do that, because as we go inwards, as we find that wholeness, as we sit at the centre of the wheel and regain our perspective of the past, change that, and then change where we're heading in the future, we'd be well advised to capture that first, rather than actually acting upon any of our desires. Virgo and Sagittarius are both signs that deal with time and the cycles of time. So sometimes it's best to have a look at, are we trying to do the right thing at the right time? Are we bullheadedly trying to push forwards? Do we have a linear view of our life? A conveyor belt, I should have done this by now, other people have got to this stage and I haven't? Or can we tune in to our own calendar, to our own cycles of time, realise that we're in a spiral, realise that we're constantly being and learning, and that is creating the things that we then see in our world. So can we fall back, fall inwards into the exploration of our relationship with time and realise that the current world has got us constantly on the run, in the rat race, in the hamster wheel, running round in circles. And can we break free of that? Can we get rid of anxiety? Can we get rid of self-criticism? And can we see the whole picture? That's really the challenge that's there this week with all those energies in Virgo and Sagittarius. So when Mercury turns retrograde from the 31st, we'll start to see those thoughts and ideas that we've been having and how we need to make the minute changes, how we would have been rushing towards something that's not big enough for us. Jupiter calls on your majesty, and it calls on clearing away the clutter first before actually implementing things into being. So from the 31st all the way through to the 22nd of September, have a look at the ideas that you've written down, have a look at where they would have led you, have a look at, is that actually the desired result? Do you want to make your life more simple, more organic, more wholesome? Do you want to be instead of do? Do you want to be living your life now rather than trying to create something for the future? Make those slight changes inside. It's all about behaviour and perspective, psychological programming, and going in and unpicking that so that you're then able to put your ideas and your mind into a channel of effortlessness as we come out of the autumn equinox, rather than just creating lots more work for ourselves. So an exploration of time and consciousness, really. Where are we nervous? Where are we anxious? Where are we mentally scrambling around, desperately distracting ourselves on the outside with thoughts and actions and doing? And where can we relax into the spiral time unfolding of, okay, well, I'll capture the passion and the essence and the heart of these ideas, where they're coming from, what I'd actually like to be creating, and I will let that then unfold in its own time. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. Astrology is the study of time and consciousness, so I always advise that people learn their own chart. This is your chart, you do actually know it very well. And if you follow my videos on the zodiac signs and on the planets, you can find those aspects within yourself. You can start to discover your own personal birth chart and soul plan. So there are various ways to do that. You can follow the videos yourself and see what inspiration you get. You could come through for a one-to-one reading where we can unpick this together, where we can reveal those parts of you and discover the meaning. You're welcome to join my online Facebook group. You don't need to be a Facebook person. You can start a private profile, but we're discussing all these energies and more and where they apply to you. Or you're very welcome to come and do one of my online courses where you can work at your own pace and ask me questions via email. So there's many different ways for you to learn astrology. I like to teach on a soul level, very intuitive, your inner verse. All these planets are aspects of you that you're bringing out. Some of them you may have forgotten, some of them you may not have met yet. But we are much more than just our sun sign, and we're much more than the label that we've managed to pin on ourselves on our journey so far. So the study of your chart, no matter how you choose to do it, will actually be a homecoming and a revealing of your kaleidoscope, of your symphony, of your complexness, but then the simplicity within that and how you can work with all those parts of yourself. So please do contact me, zoehines7@gmail.com.